What's going on, guys? Today we're going to be diving into a new analog series called Dreams of an Insomniac. The series takes place in 1986 at a place called Eastridge County, where 6 kids disappeared while they were trick-or-treating on Halloween night. At first the authorities thought it was probably an organized crime, but they soon realized it was something much more sinister. This series was created by Pastra, so please make sure to show your support to the original creator. I'll have the link to their channel down in the description below. Anyways, without further ado, let's dive in, shall we? Your name is Tommy Merrick. While visiting your old family home, you stumbled across a strange box of tapes in the attic. Uh-oh. Out of curiosity, you decided to watch them on your old CRT. You think they might be haunted, and they probably are. While watching the tapes, you began to see and hear things that weren't meant to be there. For some reason, they felt oddly familiar to you. Dreams of an Insomniac Volume 0. Bizarre break-in leaves civilians confused.
Residents of Eastridge County were left baffled today at the news of a supposed break-in that happened in the early hours of the morning. The break-in occurred at the local Halloween retail store, Grimzo's, with the culprit of this break-in having stolen one thing, and one thing only.
Yeah, so I got to the store early this morning and I see, of course, the doors
Store owner.
in a lot of pieces. Obviously, I checked inside and all the shelves are everywhere. Everything's smashed up pretty good. Buddy's still there though, so I guess that's good. The only thing that seemed to be missing was the costume, the world.
Why is this guy kind of nervous?
So that he takes just a costume.
This bizarre set of events.
Who talks like that? Know what I mean? Arms behind your back.
The intentions behind this strange robbery were. No security footage could be collected to reveal the identity of the culprit, leading many to speculate who this mysterious costume thief really is. Were they under the influence? A young teenager desperate to have a costume for an upcoming party? Did this robbery even happen? As of right now, it's anyone's guess.
Oh, if you ask me, this whole story is just a bunch of malarkey.
Sean Graham, skeptical
Some kids break in some Halloween shop for a costume. Yeah, no, not even stealing any money. If kids break in there, they're stealing at least some money. It's just another trumped up story for a small newspaper in an uneventful town when the newspaper company's probably running broke in a few months. I wouldn't trust a single bit of it. Pretty much nothing from that newspaper can be trusted anyway. Oh, to think,
you okay, man?
They said our small town representative was corrupt. Now,
whether you believe this ridiculous story or not, one thing is certain. Do not trust anyone you see wearing this costume on Halloween night.
That's a costume. What? Oh.
Eastridge County has been left in a state of panic and disarray this Halloween night after the disappearances of 6 young children in the area. The disappearances began at 6 o'clock sharp, with reports telling me that they continued through the night until finally coming to a stop exactly 1 hour later.
No way, they probably got snatched while doing trick-or-treating, right?
It all just happened so fast, you know? One minute we're having a regular Halloween night, everyone's trick-or-treating like normal, and next thing you know, here comes a mother around the corner.
You guys see his hair? What happened here, man? Hey, what's going on, pal? Oh my god.
For her kid. So we're all trying to help her out. You know, we're looking up and down the streets for where this kid went. We don't think anything of it. And then another mother comes over and she has the same problem.
Yeah, bro got that baldy basic special. I don't know why that made me laugh so much.
Another mother comes over and she has the same problem. And then another and another, and next thing you know, everyone starts to panic. The police are getting involved. Nobody knows what's going on. Nobody knows where these kids went, and nobody knows who did it.
The names of the missing children are as follows: Jason McDonald, John Thompson, Ashley Wright.
What happened to their
Lewis,
faces? What?
Norman Harris, and Sam Wilson.
Are these regular kids, or are they like some sort of mimic? What's going on?
Police have spent the better part of the night searching for both these children as well as the culprit behind this heinous crime. While no one in the local area has been suspected yet, An eyewitness report described the culprit as wearing an orange, striped costume with horns, a tail, and a black
Is it a
mask
horn?
depicting bright yellow eyes and teeth. It's advised that all residents of Eastridge County avoid
Oh, that could be
anyone
some
seen
sort of
outside the
supernatural
victim's
entity,
description.
maybe.
As well as
knows?
this, an officer on duty tonight had this to say regarding the matter.
Officer Kruger.
It breaks my heart to hear the horrible tragedy which has come over our town tonight. I promise, not only as an officer on duty, but as a father myself, that these children will be found and the culprit behind these horrible kidnappings will be brought to justice.
Police continue to investigate. Several mandates have been put forward in order to ensure the safety of Eastridge County residents. It is requested that all residents stay indoors, keep all doors and windows locked, and it is heavily advised to not trust anyone you see wearing this costume.
Interesting. So is that actually somebody wearing a costume, or is that something else we're dealing with? I don't know. Eastridge County Police. It could be a cult member as well. Who knows, right? On the night of October 6th, 1986, these photos were taken by a security camera located in the Grimsow's retail store at exactly 6 a.m. Damn, what kind of camera is this? Lights appeared to turn on by themselves. No other disturbances are apparent. Oh! Yo, what is that? Oh, that's creepy. Motion was detected within the store. Items appeared to be thrown around or damaged. What is that supposed to be? Is that the mask they were talking about? These photos, as well as a description from an eyewitness. Oh! But the only two pieces of information we had regarding the anomalous entity known as the Eastridge Demon until today. Okay, we got Officer Kruger again.
After multiple years of extensive mental and physical therapy, Officer Kruger, a surviving victim of the demon, was finally able to inform detectives of the events that transpired on the night he came face to face with this dangerous creature.
So it is a
With the
supernatural
information
creature.
he provided, we now have a better understanding of the capabilities of this threat and how our personnel can combat it. Firstly, the creature appears to be capable of causing both visual and auditory hallucinations to those that are within close proximity to it. This makes it incredibly difficult to locate and contain the creature. As a precaution against this, all ECPD personnel must operate alongside a fellow officer at all times. If you are alone at any point, attempt to locate your nearest fellow officer as quickly as possible. Do not let the demon
I don't think that's
fool
gonna
you.
help.
Grab a hold of the nearest object you can to discern your surroundings. If you see or hear someone you know nearby, it is not them. Once you have located a fellow officer, vacate the area until the effects of these hallucinations begin to fade away. Secondly, physical contact with a demon is incredibly dangerous. Following his encounter with this creature, Officer Kruger had developed severe physical abnormalities which are still being
He
treated
became
to this
bald.
day. The
Damn.
most significant of these abnormalities include discoloration of the skin.
That's Officer Kruger? Oh no! Ew! Yo, what?
It is imperative that all ECPD personnel attempt to keep a level of distance from the demon at all times. Do not attempt to approach it unless it is absolutely necessary or it has been terminated. In the event that physical contact is made, approach
Poor
the fellow
officer.
officer as soon as
Damn.
possible and seek help. Finally, it is important that all ECPD human is incredibly intelligent and is aware that it is being hunted. It will attempt to mislead you and will look for
How do you
moments where
even
you are
hunt
most
the demon?
vulnerable. This creature should be treated as if it were human. Do not let it use its tricks against you. Do not let it touch you. Do not attempt to communicate with it. And above all else, do not trust anyone
will
you
steal
encounter
your
wearing
voice.
this costume.
So it can kind of mimic you. Beware the smiling snatcher. Oh, what's this? Wait, is that Evil Dead? Huh? That's Evil Dead, right? Emergency alert system. It is so loud. The rules of the season. Right?
As Halloween night begins to set in, all residents of Eastridge County should be reminded that the smiling snatcher is out tonight. This monster is very real and threatens the safety of all Eastridge County residents. But don't worry, so long as these 5 simple rules are followed, you have nothing to worry about. Rule number 1. Remember the curfew. No trick-or-treaters should be outside past 6 o'clock p.m. That is when the smiling snatcher comes out to play. Rule number 2. Keep all doors and windows in your house locked. That way the smiling snatcher cannot come inside. Rule number 3. You do not hear the knocking at your doors or windows.
Uh-huh. I mean, cover the damn windows, right?
Rule number 4. You do not hear the knocking at your doors. Rule number 4. If you see or hear someone you know outside past curfew, that is not them. That is the smiling snatcher wearing their skin.
Wearing their skin?
And finally, the most important rule of all. Rule number 5. Do not trust anyone you see wearing this costume.
Right. It's actually a television broadcast. That's kind of crazy, though. You'd think they would try to, like, sweep it under the rugs, not actually let people know. Oh, those are the victims, right? Bizarre break-in leave civilians. Okay. Officer Kruger.
Oh, this whole thing is just a bunch of malarkey. A bunch of kids going into some Halloween store to steal a costume? Yeah, no. If you ask me,
Why are you
this whole
dancing
thing is just
around,
some
man?
trumped up news story for some small town.
Alright, cut, come on. Do you think anyone's gonna believe this? We're trying to make a news story here, man. Come on. What do you mean we're running out of time? Fine, we'll use one of the older cuts.
Oh, so he passed? Kenneth Kruger, 1956 to 1987.
A feeling of sorrow has hung over
31
Eastridge
years
County this
alive.
Halloween night
Damn.
after the unfortunate passing of the late Kenneth Kruger. Kruger was a dedicated and passionate officer who always put the people of Eastridge County before himself. He was not only a respected officer, but also a beloved member of our community and a caring father. Kruger's passing occurred late into the night, with officers discovering his body after they had received reports of his son, Klaus, being heard screaming from inside their home. After arriving at the scene of the crime, they found his body hanging inside his son's closet. As well as at the scene of the crime, they found his body hanging inside his son's closet.
Nah,
As well
that's
as his
crazy.
body, officers on the scene found this note left on his son's bed.
I can't even read it. It's so blurry. Am I supposed to read that?
The disappearances that occurred last year affected Kruger more than any other officer on the case. He was very close to many of the families involved, giving him a sense of responsibility for solving the case. This quickly led to rage, sorrow, and regret, which eventually became too much for him to bear. Nobody was there to listen to Kruger in his time of need, but now we will make sure that his story is told. If you or anyone else you know are suffering from any mental health issues, don't hesitate to call this number and seek help.
You are alone. This place will be your tomb.
Help. Please help.
There's no way he turned into this. Wait, didn't they say he died? How is this? It's saying now 1996, so he wasn't dead, but they pronounced him dead anyways, right? That's crazy.
Me. I just want to die. Why won't you let me die?
Because
won't you let me
I
die?
still have use for you yet.
In loving memory. So basically, they pronounced him dead in 1987, but we clearly see that he was alive up to 1996. So he lived for additional 9 years, but they just, yeah. Hey, who knows? Maybe they were doing some sort of experimentations on him. The viewing of this tape is meant only for the eyes of authorized Foundation personnel. May lead to termination. Oh, okay. Guys, be careful, okay? Viewers' discretion is advised. If you get terminated, it's not my fault. Family photo album. On the night of January 6th, 1987, the ECPD had received a phone call from a distressed man reporting that something was trying to break into his home. The only evidence that could be found at the scene of the crime were a photo album, as well as a camcorder which seemingly contained footage of the events that transpired in that night. That's a family photo? What the hell happened? I mean, the only person that looks normal is the lady. Upon opening the photo album, detectives were baffled to find that all the photos within were horribly distorted. This made it incredibly difficult to identify the people depicted. Search number 6. Is that snow? Yeah, it's snow. First night out. When detectives questioned the neighboring residents about the identity of the family in the photos, none of them were able to provide any useful information. It was like they never existed. Daddy.
Sammy? Sammy, is that you?
So they're looking for the missing kid.
I'm right here, Sammy. You're gonna have to help me though, honey. I can't find you.
Oh, hell nah. Wait, what's that like? Goodbye. While the culprit behind these disappearances remains a mystery, several photos in the album, as well as the 911 call made that night, suggest they may not be human. Oh, he's running. Don't run away from the Lord! What is that light?
Please send help. There's someone or something trying to get in my house. I don't know what it wants. No, I didn't give you a look at it, but I'm telling you, it's the demon. It took him, and now it's going to take me. Why you keep using his face? Why are you doing this to me?
Inside. Why does it sound like Gollum? And there goes the light. So the police came, and no one's here.
Hey, Chief. I think I found something.
I love you. The only clear photo of the perpetrator. That's the clear photo? Huh. They're talking about a family. The photos of the family members are very bizarre. They don't look human. Maybe after they got snatched by whatever that is, that's how, after that maybe the photos changed. And another thing that we saw, whenever that thing appears, like there's a huge light right behind the person. But whatever that is, if it's a demon or something, they're made out of light or fire, whatever, right? That's the only thing that makes sense. And also over here as well, like, he's just sitting right there, no lights whatsoever. And as soon as that thing appears, like the room is filled with like orange light. Well, that was Dreams of an Insomniac, and I gotta say, I really like the series so far. Now, we got a lot to talk about, so let's get into it. At the very beginning of the first video, we see a report about a break-in at Grimzo's, and nothing else gets stolen aside from a costume, which is very bizarre, because later on in the video, as we know, that it's some sort of supernatural entity, so why would it go after a specific costume? That really doesn't make a lot of sense. They also mentioned that there was no CCTV recording available, which was also a lie because later on the videos we get to see the actual footage. Right after that, we see a report about 6 kids getting kidnapped on Halloween night. Later on we learn these kids were actually taken by this entity, aka the Smiling Snatcher. Now, one thing that I've noticed while they were showing the photos of the missing kids, every single photo was distorted. And if you remember the family photo from the last video that we saw, that was also very distorted. My theory is that whenever someone gets taken by the Smiling Snatcher, all of their photos get distorted and it's as if they didn't exist in the first place. And that's exactly what we saw in that family's case, where all the neighbors were having difficult time remembering if they actually lived there. So whatever that entity is, it's actually powerful enough to change reality in this way. Since we're talking about the family, let's talk about the orange light behind the guy that was filming. Whenever the entity gets close, we see a bright orange light emitting from it. The only thing that comes to mind is basically angels. But in this case, it's obviously not that. So it could be a fallen angel, or it could be a completely different entity that could actually do that. Another thing that I noticed is that this entity was actually manipulating him, using his dead wife and kid so that he would be willing to go with it. So there's definitely a possibility where it can't really take you unless you give it permission. Now let's talk about Officer Kruger. We see his memorial service, and then we see another video that was taken 9 years later that he was very much alive, but he looks completely different.
Please help me.
It might be that he's mutating into something else and they're keeping him alive for research purposes. So who are the people that are running the whole show? If you guys remember the video about the smiling snatcher, on the video it said presented by the Lankman Foundation. I think this is an organization that deals with these type of entities, kind of like an SCP Foundation of this universe. I'm pretty sure they're not doing this because they're concerned about the general population, but rather they might have a sinister goal in mind. Well, that's all I got for you guys tonight. So thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have your own theories, please leave them in the comment section down below. I'd really appreciate it. And as always, I will see you guys in the next video.